The Buddy the Elf That Ruined Christmas, made by ABC Halloween on YouTube. 'Twas a month before Christmas, outside of a store. The fall air was still blowing like never before. But deep inside, the marketing began at big corporations planning new decor for the stores, designing new Santas and snowmen galore. Then down in Texas, a company so slick, hated for years for its quality pit, got a new license called Buddy the Elf, and they knew that it would sell on a shelf. Alongside tall Grinches, these props were soon made, not expecting its inevitable fate. 6-foot elves in a green overcoat, with a face of resemblance that nobody knows. The employees all knew that the face wasn't accurate, but the greed of the money soon began to ruin it. They boxed and shipped these out to the stores for $200 and nothing more. They were set up in the store next to 12-foot Grinches and tools and rusty wenches. Still, so early the stores were set up. Still months and months till Christmas and no time to stop set up. Next to vampires and pumpkins they stood, but as the pumpkins dwindled and vampires sold, then the Christmas probably there stood. Santas were all going off, and even a minion, but no one was trying out Buddy. You see, customers came in looking for a Christmas tree, and when they saw other things, the kids would say please, and the parents would buy. But Buddy was still there, not doing anything, because his quality was a lie. Christmas began on sale from 10 to 15, but Buddy was still seen standing adorned in green. The display is all that was left, not even any lodged in the shelf. It was the night before Christmas. A family came in, a woman, a man, and a child went in. And then they had began. They grabbed the cart with their grubby little hands, with $100 clenched in hand. They ran in and bought 5 light strands, and all things Christmas, but then they saw Buddy there. He was announcing all his quotes when they walked up, and then a Santa hat Minnie Mouse jumped up. You see, they had the money to afford all the Christmas lights, although people thought their house was a sight. So they asked the employee for all the displays, they took all the lights and all the props. But then, they bought Buddy that day. The employee yanked out his plug like a savage, and then he said, "I hate this, you can have it." The employee picked up Buddy and brought him to their car, and shoved him in there with their bags and lights and Santa's packed with care. They went home and stood Buddy on their porch with all their other lights, and even a giant Grinch. They also put a sign that said, "Santa, stop here. We deserve it," in all red. They took so long that night decorating. The elf on the shelf was annoyed at them, and he was terrified at what he saw. He saw a 6-foot robot wolf feral with a demonic face, waiting to cause pain and peril. They plugged him in with his audio booming, and they stepped inside, letting him keep running. It was nearing the midnight hour as they left out cookies for Santa, and they were all in bed as a loud thump was above their head. Santa found the chimney, but couldn't get in, it was so small, with a fire lit and all. Then he came to the front door, and he saw Buddy, and was terrified. He thought he had been caught, because the animatronics were not clarified. He slipped down and fell down the frozen hill next to the house. As he got blocked in the snow, he could faintly hear Buddy saying, "I just like to smile, smiling's my favorite." And Santa hated to hear it. Santa got back up with his gift sack and flew away, without giving any presents to those brats that day. They thought they had the best decor, they thought they had won, but when they were deciding which ones, they messed up. You see, Christmas is not about tacky decorations or Santa confrontations, but memories you make. Anyway, the family woke up, and to their surprise, no gifts. Presents aren't gifts. That time, they puzzled why, but then they saw the cookies. There were some nibbles and the note that they were intrigued by the most. It said, "I just like to smile, smiling's my favorite." And it gave them a chill, but thinking it was a joke about motorized Will. But when they opened the blind, there he stood, peeking in with his eerie gaze, saying, "I just like to smile, smiling's my favorite." And because of that, deformation and cheap latex faces, and cheap robotics, Jimmy had ruined Christmas, and this tale about the employees that went psychotic. So if you make a prop, just don't forget, it needs to have resemblance. If from Santa, you might get it. And they lived confused ever after. Happy Halloween, I mean Christmas.